It began with a flash so sudden the entire luxury world blinked in disbelief. Cameras caught Jangwonyoung stepping into the spotlight with BVLGARI, and in that instant, the industry felt a tremor. This wasn't just a new campaign, it was a calculated move that signaled the beginning of something much bigger. BVLGARI doesn't simply hand out prestige, it engineers icons. And by elevating Wonyoung, the brand placed her in the same rarefied air as Lisa BLACKPINK, the undisputed queen of global luxury influence. The real question is, what happens when two forces collide at the very top of fashion's pyramid? Wonyoung's rise isn't an accident. Luxury houses know the psychology of desire, and Wonyoung embodies freshness, youth, and the appeal of tomorrow. Every glittering necklace she wears isn't just jewelry. It's a signal, a message to the market that BVLGARI has found its next muse of power. But the moment this image hit the public eye, it triggered a ripple that reached Lisa, a ripple that could evolve into a storm. 'Cause Lisa Manoban isn't just another ambassador. She is luxury's golden standard, the measuring stick against which all others are judged. And when her throne is even slightly questioned, history shows she doesn't retreat. She recalibrates, then strikes harder. Wonyoungive ascends as the new face of BVLGARI, dazzling in her debut, while Lisa watches from her position of dominance. The psychology of exclusivity comes into play. Luxury thrives on rarity, and when more than one star shares the same orbit, the tension grows. Consumers are drawn to novelty, but they are also addicted to authority. Wonyoung brings novelty, Lisa embodies authority. Place them in the same arena, and suddenly every move becomes more than fashion, it becomes strategy. Lisa has always played the long game. Her every step with Louis Vuitton, Celine, and BVLGARI has been less about endorsements and more about empire building. She doesn't just model clothes or jewels, she transforms them into symbols of her identity. When Lisa appears, brands don't gain a face, they gain a legend. That's why Wonyoung's sudden rise feels less like competition and more like a spark, because sparks ignite fire, and Lisa is the kind of fire that reshapes entire industries. Imagine the suspense inside boardrooms right now. Executives running through scenarios, calculating Lisa's next move, knowing her response could set the tone for global luxury marketing. Will she unleash a campaign that blends her dominance in fashion with entrepreneurship? Will she pivot into investment, crafting her own empire that doesn't just wear luxury but owns it? The cliffhanger here is almost unbearable because Lisa's silence is never empty, it's a strategy. And this is where the deeper lesson reveals itself. We're not just watching two idols, we're watching live demonstrations of brand psychology. Wonyoung's ascent shows how novelty captures the eye. Lisa's reign proves how authority secures loyalty. In the world of marketing, these two forces are the yin and yang of consumer psychology. The magic happens not when one destroys the other, but when their contrast sharpens the narrative. And right now, every fan tweet, every trending hashtag, every viral clip adds fuel to this evolving story, turning fandom into real economic leverage. But let's push the tension further. What if Lisa doesn't just respond? What if she escalates? What if she unveils a project so daring that it makes Wonyoung's BVLGARI debut look like a teaser trailer? Think of the possibilities. Lisa moving beyond campaigns into ownership, into ventures where luxury isn't just an accessory but an asset. That's not a far-fetched fantasy. It's the natural next step for someone who has already conquered the stages, the runways, and the red carpets. Wonyoung's rise sharpens the stage, but Lisa controls the spotlight. The more Wonyoung dazzles, the more the world anticipates Lisa's counter. And here lies the genius of luxury storytelling. Competition doesn't weaken the leader, it strengthens the legend. By allowing the new to shine, the established power only grows more inevitable. Lisa doesn't need to crush Wonyoung, she only needs to wait, then reveal a move so seismic that the entire conversation pivots back to her. Now circle back to that first shocking moment, the BVLGARI rise that sparked this entire chain of events. Was it a challenge or was it a catalyst? Because what began as a glamorous debut has now become the trigger for something far greater. Lisa's shocking luxury strategy, one that could redefine the boundaries of influence in 2025. And here's the truth you need to hold on to. This story isn't ending, it's building. Every second of silence from Lisa is a countdown. Every flash of Wonyoung's rise is fuel for the fire. The climax hasn't arrived yet, and when it does, the luxury world won't just watch, it will erupt. And just when the cameras seemed to settle, another wave of speculation surged, because Wonyoung's BVLGARI debut was not a quiet appointment, it was a headline written to be impossible to ignore. She walked into the luxury arena not as a timid newcomer, but as if the stage had been waiting for her all along. The timing, the presentation, the whispers around her, it all hinted at a carefully engineered move, not just by BVLGARI but by the broader luxury chessboard itself. People didn't just see an idol wearing jewelry, they saw a generational pivot, one that raised burning questions about how Lisa would respond in her own grand design. And here's the twist. In luxury branding, it's never about the single moment, it's about the ripple effect that stretches across months, even years. That's why Wonyoung's entry feels less like an isolated event and more like the first domino in a global strategy shift. Lisa, of course, is no stranger to such tremors. For years, she has been the lightning rod of luxury, the one who redefined what it means for a K-pop idol to dominate global fashion houses. From Paris Fashion Week to front row couture, from Coachella to film festivals, her playbook has never been about survival, it has always been about expansion. Which is why Jangwonyoung stepping into BVLGARI's world feels less like a threat and more like an invitation for Lisa to rewrite the next chapter on her terms. It's the kind of moment where silence can be louder than a press release, where a single public appearance can signal a shift bigger than any official statement. Because in the luxury game, competition isn't just about who wears what, it's about who sets the narrative. BVLGARI's alignment with Wonyoung tells us they're aiming for youth-driven dominance, targeting a Gen Z base that thrives on virality, short attention, and aspirational consumption. Meanwhile, Lisa's long-term trajectory is already global icon territory, less about trend chasing, more about empire building. Think about it. While one move makes the headlines today, another move positions itself for legacy tomorrow. And in this invisible tug-of-war, the audience, the fans, the consumers become the real players, choosing with their wallets, their attention, and their loyalty. So what comes next? That's the cliffhanger that has everyone restless. Because every time Lisa disappears from the spotlight, she doesn't fade, she recalibrates. Every time Wonyoung rises, she doesn't just shine, she redefines what it means to belong at the luxury table. And when two forces like this collide on the same map, it's not just fashion, it's high-stakes storytelling with billions of dollars of brand equity on the line. And here's the kicker. No one truly knows who will hold the upper hand because in luxury, the real power belongs to the one who can turn perception into profit, who can turn silence into suspense, who can make the world lean forward and whisper, what happens next? So stay locked in. Because if you thought Wonyoung's BVLGARI moment was stunning, just wait until Lisa Manoban reveals what's next. That's when the world won't just shift, it will explode. And you'll want to be here, front row, watching the legend unfold. Make sure you hit subscribe, share this with the ones who can't miss it, and keep your eyes here, because the next chapter is going to be even bigger.